Hello, welcome to Aimee Nolte Music. I'm going to show you one of my favorite tricks today about reharmonizing a melody to play for solo piano. I really like this trick, and again, I think it's really easy to learn. It's easy to teach, so let's hop right into it and I'll show it to you. And also, if you'd like the worksheet that I made to go along with this video, just write to me, aimenolte@yahoo.com, and I'll get you one. All right, the trick I want to show you today happens when we're on a dominant chord and the melody note is the flat 9. So say we were on a C dominant chord and the melody note is a D flat. Here's my trick. If ever this happens to you, you can take this melody note. All you do is you go up a sixth from the root, which is C. So your sixth is A, and you play an A major triad. What that does is turns your C7 chord into a C13 flat 9 chord. And this sound of a major triad over a dominant 7, just the root in the 7th, is a beautiful sound, and it can help you make all kinds of interesting decisions in your solo piano playing. I'd like to show you some examples. The first one I'm going to take is East of the Sun. As the end of East of the Sun comes around, you have this thing happening. Right? So that's just the little chunk I want to take is because, look, there's a B7 chord and we've got a flat 9 in the melody. All right? So what are we going to do? When we get to that chord, we're going to count up, just up to the 6th degree of the major scale. And what was our note? It's a C, right? So all we gotta do is make it an A flat chord. Now we're talking about an A flat chord in second inversion, aren't we? We could also call it a G sharp major chord, I suppose. That would probably be more correct. But you know, I'm a piano player. I like those flats, don't I? Doesn't that sound great? Listen to it once. I even took the next note of the melody and made that into a triad too. Which is cool because we're on a B7 chord. What it does is it makes a sharp 9, it makes a sharp 5. So we've got two flavors of an altered chord here. Let me show you how it looks on paper. I made a worksheet for today. You can see I'm going to have 5 examples to show you of tunes that you can use this in. So here we go. And as you can see, I've kind of circled the magic chord that we're talking about, the one where we're using that 6th degree triad. I've just written little parts of the song, you know, just the bars that we're talking about. There you go. That's what it looks like. Okay, the next tune we're going to look at is Stella by Starlight. Now, as the end of the song approaches, this is where we pick up, right here. Boom. And you know I wrote one of my favorite half-diminished chord voicings that has the natural 2 in it. And we're just going to resolve our thumb to an A, so from the B flat to the A, just for a second. And then here comes our note. This is the part where there's a flat 9 over a dominant 7 chord. So it's in the key of, it's F dominant, right? So we count up, and the 6th degree is a D. We make the D be the center note, and we've got ourselves a D triad in second inversion over an F7 chord. Cool sounding, right? Let's hear it again. But first, let's see if we can sing it. Da, there's our melody note. What's the D? Da, da. And the last note? Da. Nailed it. It's important to try to be able to hear it before it comes up. Da, da, da. And I've resolved it with fourths. You can see I'll probably do that a lot. I think it sounds nice. I'll explain it more a little bit later. How Insensitive is our next one. Just to get you feeling the song. A7 chord, what are we gonna do? We're gonna count up A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. And since I like those flats, I didn't write it as an F sharp major triad. Somebody's gonna get mad at me for that, aren't they? But I like to see it this way. And anyway, it keeps me from writing more accidentals as we go through this, because I've actually taken it and harmonized 3 of these notes of this bar with triads. It's kind of the same kind of thing that we did up on East of the Sun, where we create different flavors of a dominant chord by using the melody note, harmonizing it in a triad. I must have seemed when you, here we go, told me so sincerely. Doesn't that sound pretty? Seemed. Now let's see if we can sing it. You've just heard it. Where's the melody note? Da. What's the next note? Da. Oh. It's a really good idea to just stop and see if you can actually sing it before you play it. And then all I did is just lower everything by a half step. And in doing that, we've got the C, which is the sharp 9 of A7, the F, which is the sharp 5, and then the root note, which is an A. And here again, we've got the B flat, which is the flat 9, and we have an E flat now, which is the flat 5, and the 7 is the dominant 7 note. Isn't that cool? It's actually a trick that I learned from Bill Evans, and I'll teach that to you sometime. But when he played People, he did this. Isn't that pretty? But anyway, I digress. We'll do that another day. Let's move on to the next tune. On the bridge of All the Things You Are, we start on an A minor chord. You are the angel glow that lights, and there, right there, that is our flat 9 on a dominant 7 chord. It's an E flat or a D sharp on a D7 chord. Let's hear how we've done it. I did a little tritone substitution to get us to the D7 because I think it'll be nice. Now here we go. Now, the one that's coming up is the one I've circled, right? But since it's approached by half step, I've done the same thing that we did up here. All I've done is just approach the whole triad by half step, just 1 half step lower. It makes it really fun. And all I did was just make another triad out of this melody note. It's such an easy way to do it. You just think, what would be a cool triad? And you just go for it. And almost all the time, the thing that you think of, it just adds more cool altered notes to your chord. Like here, we've added the flat 5 and the flat 9 and the 7. That's what that A flat major triad is. And then I just resolved to fourths. Sometimes I feel like if you're going to resolve, it'll sound cooler to use some kind of a fourths cluster. If you put the E on top of this cluster, it would just be a stack of perfect fourths. Do you see that? Because if I would have just resolved to a triad in G major, it wouldn't sound quite so hip. Let's listen to what that would be like. Right, if I just went B, F sharp, D with my right hand, it wouldn't sound quite so nice as I think so anyway. All right, the last example is Devil May Care. There are plenty more out there. These are just the first 5 I could think of. So let's see. We're coming around to the very end of Devil May Care. Only a fool dreams he can hold back the dawn. He who is, and here's where it is. And here it comes. It's going to be this one, isn't it? Do you see the E flat over the D7 chord? That's your flat 9. So we count up 6 degrees. It's a B in the key of D, right? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. our top note is, I spelled it as an E flat. I probably should have spelled that as a D sharp. Don't hate me. And then you just harmonize it as a B triad. So I've done the exact same thing. All I've done is harmonize every single melody note of this chord in the same way, making the melody note be the third of the major triad that we're on. So we've got an A flat major triad in second version, a B major triad in second inversion, a B flat major triad in second inversion, and an A flat again. And then we've again resolved to fourths. Let's hear how it sounds. A very simple trick. All right, I hope that you've had a nice time here today. I hope that your hearing has been a little bit expanded by listening to these triads that teach you all of the flavors of the dominant chord. Remember to sing along, practice them a lot so that they're in your ear. And every song that you come across that has a flatted 9 over a dominant chord, give it a shot. You're going to be able to start to hear how it sounds before it even comes out. So it'll just be an organic part of your playing, and it'll be really exciting. All right, thanks everybody. I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.